As I'm launching this project, the next few weeks for me are a little bit crazy. I am producing and creating and starring in a solo performance piece called Love Labor, and that is a chance for me to share my story of what it's been like for me taking care of my mom for the last 16 years of my life. What has that meant in my personal development, in my career development, in my social development? What has it meant for my family? And who I've become and the life that I'm living now. And I want to be able to share that story because it hasn't been easy. And I'm really looking forward to, I don't know, almost celebrating the launch of this project with my own art and my own passion. For me, what motivates me to do this project and to do this work is the fact that my mom has been living with cancer for the last 16 and a half years. And in that time, since I myself was 16 years old, I haven't had a place to go, a community to lean on, or support groups that were specific to what I needed. And I've had a lot of moments where I was confused and I felt alone and invisible, alienated from my peers, and nobody else was around me that was facing the same thing. I giggle when I ride roller coasters. I never scream. It's that feeling of falling forwards, going so fast. I just giggle. I can't help it. It's the adrenaline. I don't know. I just sit there and it happens. I do not work for it. All that fear just builds up inside of you, and then it releases right after that first big dive down, and all that you're left with is joy. All that fear that builds up, it doesn't matter. Your instincts weren't wrong. You should be afraid of falling from a very high height. But your fears were unnecessary. You didn't fall and you didn't die, but only because you were strapped in. I'm an actor by training and by trade, and I love theater more than anything in the world. It's my most favorite art form, and I believe that storytelling is transformative, not only to our own personal feelings and beliefs, but also to that of the community. And what I wanted to do is create an opportunity for everyone to gather and to experience one story, and then to have a chance to be able to talk to each other about it. And so my hope is that my show will spark conversation and will get people thinking, about how we show up for one another. Because I would argue that we don't always do the best job of it, and maybe having a little bit more awareness or education around what that could look like might have a ripple effect that could affect hundreds of people. So I'm really excited to be able to tell my story using my art, and honestly, that's really been the impetus for this entire project. Welcome to What I'm Serving. As many longtime viewers of the show know, my mom has been battling cancer for 16 years! Yes, give it up! And today I am super excited because I get to share with you all some of my tips and tricks for what to do when those well-meaning friends and acquaintances want to know, how you doing? How's mom? So what I do is this. I always have a canned response. And I know that our viewers love canning. You love canning, don't you? Yes, we love canning! Yes! And what is canning about? Preservation. The hardest part about making this project was completely unexpected for me. When I applied for the Artist Initiative grant from the Minnesota State Arts Board, my mom had been well for about 18 months or so, 2 years, and she was really healthy and really active. And a few weeks after I got word that I had received the grant, I found out that my mom was not well and that she needed to go back into surgery and back into maybe treatment. And so that was a really tough time for me to think, okay, I'm now making a show about my mom's cancer while my mom's cancer is back. I don't know what's gonna happen. And I kept moving forward. I started to untangle and unlock a lot of my feelings and emotions around what it's meant to have been a caregiver for the last 16 years, which is actually half of my life. And then, of course, because cancer really doesn't ever stop, in the last few weeks alone, as I grow, as I get closer and closer and closer to my show opening, my mom is getting sicker and sicker and sicker, and we are hearing more and more and more bad news. And, this piece of theater is probably the last piece of theater my mom is gonna see me in. And that's a blessing, and it also really sucks.
My mom has stage 3 low-grade serous carcinoma of the ovaries.
Patient presents with hand-foot syndrome, burns from the inside out, and blisters. She is unable to walk and needs a wheelchair with leg extenders to keep her legs and feet elevated.
My mom has stage 3 low-grade serous carcinoma of the ovaries.
Patient's daughter moves into her first house. Patient's ex-husband helps with the move. They haul patient back and forth so she can be a part of the process.
One time, I used my mom and her wheelchair as a cart at IKEA. It was pretty awesome. My mom has stage 3 low-grade serous carcinoma of the ovaries.
It's about understanding the complexities of taking care of someone with a chronic illness or someone with cancer. I think that there's sort of a lack of understanding about how complicated and complex that can actually be, and the amount of fear and anxiety that we're all carrying around with us on a daily basis. Imagine being 26 years old and the thing that's running through your head all the time is your mom's not gonna meet your kids. Your mom's not gonna be at your wedding. You have to get to the end of your career at 26 years old so that your mom can see exactly where you're gonna end up before she dies. There's a lot of other things that are going on in our heads other than just the functional reality of I have to get groceries, I have to pick up the prescriptions, I have to make sure that she's got all the supplies that she needs, and I need to keep her company, and I need to empty her dishwasher, and there's a lot going on. So hopefully it's, a little window into that.